Hello everyone. Something really quite huge happened in my career in September, and I have not yet spoken about it publicly until now. So, back in September, I went on an 11-date solo acoustic tour across the UK. And just before I went on this tour, I posted something controversial on Twitter. The controversial post was a poster that I had printed off for the tour that had some gig etiquette guidelines for my audiences to follow. For most people who regularly go to small live music events, these guidelines were really quite obvious things that they already naturally do. But the reason why I got to this point where I wrote down a set of guidelines is because I have played so many gigs where a handful of people in the room spoil it by chatting too loud to their mates, by getting a bit drunk, getting a bit rowdy, by heckling, shouting out things to me, screaming so loudly to a song so that everyone in the room looks at them in the audience. I have experienced all of this and more, which is why I wanted to give my audience a bit of a heads up to say this is how I'd like you to behave at my gigs. So I posted this on Twitter. I could not believe how viral it went. It reached 1.7 million people. So when I first posted this tweet, it was actually really positive. All the responses were like, oh my God, I wish more people would say this out loud. Good for you for standing up for yourself. People who have stopped going to gigs because of the behaviour of other people in the audience were congratulating me. And then it reached a different side of the internet who took everything that I said completely out of context, thinking I was talking about arena shows, misquoting me, saying, oh my God, she's saying I can't sing along at a Harry Styles concert. No, Linda, that's not what I'm saying. It got the attention of various news outlets. I was interviewed on loads of BBC radio stations, podcasts. I was in The Times, The Guardian. But I think the biggest one was probably appearing live on TV on Good Morning Britain. So they asked if I would like to come on live TV to debate gig etiquette with another musician. So they told me they were going to find another musician who disagreed with all of my points, and then we'd battle it out on TV. Honestly, I didn't think this was going to happen because I didn't think they would find someone who would argue that actually no, I love it when people talk all the way through my gigs. However, they found someone. I'm not going to name the other musician who appeared on the TV with me, but I think the main problem with all of this is context. So for context, I am a singer-songwriter in the folk pop world, playing very, very small venues. The other guest that they got on is a singer for a very rowdy 80s band, playing much bigger venues. So the two aren't really comparable. Little bit of behind the scenes knowledge for you. How these TV debate shows work is they will come to the first guest, get all of their points, and then take those points to the other guest. The other guest will say all of their points, and then I'll know exactly what the other guest is going to say, and the other guest will know what my points are. So it's almost scripted to a point, so we're not caught off guard and we're prepared for those 6 minutes to get our points across. Not quite how it happened though, was it? So the debate starts. I speak for 18 whole seconds before getting interrupted for the entirety of the debate. I could not get a word in edgeways. Unfortunately, the scripted debate that I thought was going to happen got thrown completely off course by the other guests, making it very personal, making comments like, oh, it's your personality that can't command a room, it must be because of you, despite never seeing me live before. So all in all, it was a pretty horrible experience, and unfortunately all the clips got taken down. But luckily for you, I still have them. Enjoy.
I've done a little set of rules for this tour in particular, and I don't think these rules should be for every single gig. Of course, those rules can't be for arenas, but for my kind of genre of music, I think people should listen to the music. That's why they're there, no? But why buy a ticket to talk through the whole set?
Have you found that people are getting worse at gigs?
I think since COVID, weirdly, yeah.
Not for me.
No?
No, and people don't really talk when I sing either because I've got a good voice. I connect with the audience. That's what I fell in love with singing, connecting with the audience, making them happy. I don't care if they sing along. I'm not noticing anybody talking. To have a set of rules for a gig when they're paying, I think that's really awful, honestly. You should be a teacher or a prison officer. If you don't love being on stage with people watching you, stay in your bedroom, sing there and stream it to people who like voice. Because you have got a good voice, but you obviously haven't got the personality.
Oh,
that
I
you
do.
Can...
I
No, you have your personality, but you haven't got that thing where you connect with the audience. Because otherwise, that's the bit that you would love. They're not allowed to... Wait, someone wants the toilet. No, you're not allowed to go to the toilet because I've got 30 people in the room.
Of course, people can
But
go
I've
to
done
the
small
toilet.
gigs. I've done working men's clubs where it's racist graffiti. When I'm walking, I'm terrified. And it's a real big challenge. You want them to love you, and you hope so, but you can't just trust in it. But I do. With racist graffiti and an audience that don't know me, I've walked in, and then when you start to sing... You are... Whatever you do, and they go, oh, that's incredible. And if you're not getting that, if people are talking or singing along... How are they singing along? Is it your songs or covers?
Come on. Oh, it's all my original music.
Right, and they're singing along. You don't like that? That's incredible.
Can I speak?
Ding-a-ling-a-ling, end of round one.
Let Lise.
Bring on the towels.
Thank you.
Round two.
I've been performing live for 9 years, and it's my favourite thing to do. I get such an amazing buzz off
40 years.
Off the audience. Good for you.
You won't be.
And anyway,
if you're banning everyone
such
for
an
amazing...
amazing...
Let me speak, Rowetta, because...
I am told to interrupt. I'm told to interrupt.
Gig etiquette.
Sorry, yes.
Exactly, this is what I hate.
I just want to hear what...
Do they do that when you're singing? Because that would be annoying.
Order. It's like that. How common is this?
I think when people pay for a ticket to go and see live music, they are there to see live music. And all of my gigs are brilliant. I have an amazing fan base who listen. I have really, really sensitive songs, so I have a song about baby loss. Imagine if I'm singing a song about baby loss and there's someone chatting through it. I don't think anyone in their right mind can say, oh, well, they're allowed to have fun. If you're there to socialise with your friends, then why not go to the pub? Why are you buying a ticket to see me, Lucy May Walker, and then talk through my set?
What response
I sing at funerals. I sing for people with learning disabilities, people with Tourette's, children. They talk. They're disruptive. They don't always listen. There's a place called Revitalise where it's all learning disability people, and they shout, "Do it again!" They're screaming all the time, but they're loving the night. They're loving my voice, and they're loving the connection we have. And your rules. There's too many rules in this country anyway, and some people break them. But to put rules to your fans, but charge them. If you're going to do the gig for free or stream it, that's fine. But how can you charge fans and then tell them to shut up?
Ding-a-ling-a-ling, end of round two. Round three.
I think just because you've bought a ticket to see a show doesn't mean you can just act however you want. You can't just start a fight and expect
But they won't
not
be
to
buying
get
tickets
kicked out.
anymore.
Well, most
or
of
you'll
my
stick
shows
to
are
30
sold
to
out
60
on the
people.
tour.
Yeah, it's 30 to 60 people. I play Glastonbury, as you know, and Wembley. But I also do little venues out of choice to people with... You couldn't do a venue like Revitalise. Try doing that at Sandpipers in Southport, where they've all got learning disabilities, and they shout all the way through.
What this person doesn't know, my whole career came from busking on the streets of London and from train stations and the underground, where people are not there to listen to music. I have played all of the rowdy pubs you can imagine. I have played in the bars of football clubs, Arsenal, at Brentford, outside Wembley before the Euros, to football fans. Let me tell you, I can do the gigs, but that's not what we're talking about. Believe it or not, I'm not asking Arsenal fans if they can all pull up a chair and sit and listen to Lucy May Walker sing original songs. I'm talking about gigs where people have bought a ticket specifically to see me play. And what I have a problem with is when they don't watch me, they chat too loudly, they might get too drunk, they might heckle at me. There are so many points that I could have made. We had 6 minutes to get our points across. I wasn't able to do that, but at least I didn't stoop to the level of attacking someone for their personality to try and get my point across.
Because you're singing for yourself. You should be singing to the audience, to connect to the audience. Loads of people can sing. Sorry, Ramsey, I know.
Lucy, have you ever told anybody off? I mean, we've seen... Tell us a bit about how you've dealt with it in real time.
Yeah, so the reason why I've come to a point where I've just written some guidelines, really, is because I do call it out. If someone's chatting at my gig, which it really is, it takes 2 people to ruin I've played like a venue.
And everybody else has paid, haven't they?
Yeah, and that's the point. Yes, you might have paid to enjoy yourself, But if you're like screaming along and, you know, with a selfie stick in the air, you got to remember the person next to you has also paid for a ticket.
Can I ask you what you've actually said? Give us what actually happened when you called it out. What did you say?
So, well, most of the time, they're so busy chatting that they don't hear me. So that's why I've resorted to
I'm not being funny, but
giving a bit
nobody
of a
chats.
heads
Like,
up.
why are they chatting all the time when you're singing? Because you've got a great voice. You need to learn to connect with the audience and think
I
about
do that
them.
very well.
Well, then how come they're chatting all the time and they're getting worse, you're
I'm
saying?
talking about one person.
You said two.
In a room. Well, obviously
All the
two.
time, all the time, all the time, you said.
In a room full of 60 people. And I'm just saying, you know, it's a bit of a heads up. This is how I would like you to behave.
Oh my God, am I talking? Oh no, this time the host wants to interrupt me, so I can't say my sentence here either. Appearing on this show was not what I anticipated it to be, but I'm really proud of my composure. I don't know how I held it together, but I did, and I'm really proud of myself for that. I'm actually pretty happy with how I came across. This was my first time appearing on a live debate kind of TV show, and good experience, good story to tell, and honestly, a great bit of exposure. The only thing I'm gutted about is that they took every single clip off the internet. I want to end this video by saying thank you so much. I got hundreds of comments being so supportive about my tweet, about my appearance on Good Morning Britain, and a big hello if you're new here and you discovered me from this whole thing.